Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and today we've got Combat Arena, the fast-paced miniatures combat game. So, Combat Arena here is basically a 40k reskin of an earlier Games Workshop game, Gorechosen. And personally, I really enjoy Gorechosen because it's one of those games that no matter where we play it, we end up getting really loud, attracting the crowd, and everybody has a good time. So, what's interesting is the models in this game, and you can see 3 of them here. They don't show the rest for whatever reason. There's actually 5 models. These are the exact same models that are included in the new Blackstone Fortress expansion that just came out recently. So if you want an alternative to a very, very costly expansion and you're just really interested in the minis, Combat Arena might be the ticket for you because it was literally half the price, and if you have any kind of coupons or whatever at Barnes Noble, you might be able to get it even cheaper. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about the game yet, other than the fact that yes, it is a reskin of Gorechosen. It's built on the basis of Gorechosen, and I haven't had a chance to play this yet, so I don't really want to comment on the game too much until actually I get a few games under my belt. In the meantime, however, we need to talk about the figures, because that's what you're all here for, right? So let's take a look at the models. So funny enough, we have everything we need all on one sprue. I was kind of surprised about that considering we have 5 models, but yeah, I forgot there are board game push fit models. So if you're worried about having to glue tiny minuscule parts, well, I don't know what to say because you've got a lot of really spindly wires on here and a crazy little knife leg on our rogue trader friend here as well. But suffice to say, it doesn't look that complicated, and considering everything's push fit, I don't think it's going to be too bad. In addition to that, every model is going to be on a 32mm base. They are Slaughter 32s, and as far as I know, those are the only 32mm Slaughters that exist are the ones that have been included with the board games so far. Maybe there were some in Dark Imperium. I don't really remember. It's been a while since I painted those guys. But needless to say, let's take a look at each of the models. So we have 5 here. We have a Seikar, a Inquisitor, a Tech Priest, a Rogue Trader, and a Servitor. Yeah, that's all 5. So I'm going to go piece by piece. We're going to clip out the parts. We're going to look at one by one, and we will see how they turn out. First up is the Crusader. So the Crusader consists of 4 parts. You have the front and back of the body. You have the head, which is going to just basically slot in. And then you have both hands with both the shield and the sword. So fairly simple. We'll get him put together and let's see how he looks. And here's the finished Crusader. I think I called him an Inquisitor earlier, but Inquisitors have Crusaders hanging out with them anyway. And last I checked, they were part of the Inquisition book way back when, so whatever. Pretty similar to the old metal model, obviously a lot more modernized sculpt. I need a little bit of cleanup there. And you'll see I didn't really fully attach the parts, but as always, that's because I want to get in there and paint everything nice and neatly before, you know, really committing to getting everything sealed up. So, out of curiosity, a little bit shorter actually than a Marine. Kind of surprising. What about Primaris? Obviously, I think it would be the more modern indication. Fair enough. What about a human? Okay, getting better there. So why don't we build the Seikar next? Let's get the Seikar ready. Now our Primaris Seikar is just about the same as the Crusader in terms of parts. We have the front and the back of the body. She has both hands on one piece, and then finally, whoa, even though I lost it, we have the head, a bald female head with a big frilly coat jacket, which just screams Gene Stealer Magus to me, but, you know, could be because that's what they released recently. So let's get her put together. Sadly, I don't have my Gene Stealer Magus anymore. Otherwise, I'd put her on screen with her and we'd take a look at them both. But I'm going to get her built here. Primaris Seikar all put together here. What's interesting is that the gun and the wires aren't actually attached to anything. They just kind of float there, but they get in pretty snug. So if you wanted, I would probably suggest gluing that little tube into our backpack there, putting a little dab of glue and maybe even a little bit on the back of the pistol prior to actually finishing everything off. So I'll probably go ahead once I start painting and we get past the stage where her gear on her back is all done. I'll put a little bit of glue there, I think, just to keep it more sturdy and secure because I like that. Didn't realize there's actually a little hole in the collar, as I think of the word there. The wires attached, kind of a nice little touch. Cool model, even though she totally looks like a Gene Stealer Magus. I guess if you really wanted to use her as a Magus, might as well. And after that, why don't we build our rogue trader friend? So we are 2 for 2 so far. Behold all the parts of our rogue trader. Now this was just a crazy piece to try to get off this sprue. Be very careful with that. It's just a little bit wild there. You have what looks to be part of her torso, the rear part, I guess. You have one of her hands, her head, which actually slots in, whichever is her head, I'm not sure. Something like that. And then we're going to attach everything else. So we'll figure that out. I think this goes on the inside first, maybe? I don't know. We'll put her all together. Let's take a look. So yeah, this is probably the craziest figure of the set. So yeah, I'm going to have to go back and take her apart. You can see here there's a huge gap. Well, not huge, but there's a gap between the front half of back of her head, which is because it's 2 separate pieces. Everything is actually held together by this crazy wire contraption and the servo skull reloading her pistol here. It's all one piece that's kind of keeping everything together. So you might want to do some gluing on her. Of all of them, she's probably going to be the most challenging so far. Just looking at the parts layout for the Tech Priest and the Servitor, I don't think they're going to be as challenging. Not that she's super hard, it's just there's lots of fiddly bits. I really worry about the gun and the Servitor getting snapped off. So you're going to have to be careful with that, but otherwise, very cool. I know people online complain about her peg leg, blade leg, but personally, I like it. It's kind of cool. Anyway, why don't we get on to the, not the Servitor, the Tech Priest guy. I think he has a special name, but we'll go check what that is. So here is our Tech Priest friend. I double checked, and he's actually called the Techno Archeologist. So, yeah. Pretty simple. Again, I think he's one of the more complex figures. He's got 5 whole parts, but basically that's not going to go there. Where do you go? Maybe here? Aha. Okay. So you're going to pop his head. That is a teeny tiny connection. My goodness. That's going to go there. And then I think this, attaches somewhere around here, doesn't it? I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, yeah, I think it does. Because then we put this half on like so, and then the big backpack, and then the backpack actually holds everything together. So just to give you an idea, I'm going to go ahead and put them together for realsies though. Not that many complex parts, and you're just going to make sure you pop the head on, and then you got this for his little counter Geiger reader thingy. And now the Tech Priest is actually finished. So I was right. The thing just plugs in right here for his little meter. And he's a nice looking Tech Priest. Sorry, Techno Archeologist. Got the extra arms, got all the little wires. I was feeling a little bit left out of the fun because I got rid of all my Mechanicus stuff. I think I still have a couple Kill Team sprues. So he'll be fun to paint up. It'll be nice to have somebody techie. Now, do want to point out that that backpack of his is only keeping everything together and is very flimsy in some parts. You can see here as I just fiddle with the wires, you might want to put some actual glue in those spots because otherwise, you know, over time it could be an issue. So that is the Techno Archeologist, and finally we are down to just these parts, the Servitor. Let's take a look at the Servitor's parts. So of the bunch, the Servitor here is actually the most complex, and that's not really saying a whole lot just because he has to put the claw on one of the fingers of the claw, and his feet are separate from the rest of the body. But overall, he's not really that complex, and I'm really happy to have him because I needed a Servitor, and I can't stand the old plastic ones, and I don't have those War Games exclusive ones that they just released, so he'll be a nice stand-in for the meantime. But let's get him put together. He doesn't look too complex. And now our Servitor is finished. Much like the Tech Priest, the backpack actually holds everything together with the body, so bear that in mind. But he goes together pretty simple, not too complex in any way, shape, or form. So with that, we have the entire cast of Combat Arena built and at least ready to attempt to play. we'll get them all set. So hopefully I can get a video recorded in the near future after we have a few games under our belts, after everybody here is painted, and we can give you a good verdict on what we think. But at least for now, in terms of just looking for models, if you are interested in any kind of 40K figures, I think this is a good buy, because you know these things would probably be like 20-30 bucks each on their own. I haven't checked eBay yet, but I'm guessing that's probably about what they should be. Servitor obviously is going to have a lot of applied use for all kinds of 40K games. Necromunda was what I was thinking, because I know Orlocks have access to them, and I like me some Orlocks. But besides that, obviously, Tech Priests or Techno Archeologists are going to have a lot of use. Here you have a nice instant Magus if you need one, in another Rogue Trader. Not that they're any good at the moment, but who knows, you might find another use for her. And another Crusader. Well, you know, I think these guys all have a bit of potential somewhere on the tabletop, not only in this game, but in any kind of 40K game as well, especially if you're playing on the side of the Imperium. So, for 40 bucks at Barnes Noble, not a bad deal. Now, whether or not you have a Barnes Noble anywhere near you or are able to access one, that's an entirely different story. So you might want to keep an eye out, or know family members that have one nearby, and have them hook you up, because honestly, it's not a bad deal, and I'm sure people are going to be charging an arm and a leg on that for it online as it is. So keep your eyes peeled, and hopefully we'll be back with a review of the game after we get some games in. With that said, this is High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures saying thanks for watching, and we will be back with more later. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.